So is this a solid sequel or a turd in the wind? What is up everyone, Movie Worm back again with another review, and this is going to be for the 2021 film Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and it's directed by Andy Serkis and stars Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson. This tells the story of Eddie Brock, who goes up against serial killer Cletus Cassidy, who is also now infected by a more powerful symbiote. And I quite enjoyed the first Venom movie. I thought it was quite funny in a lot of places actually, and it was entertaining enough throughout. I never really quite got the hate, and I still don't to this day. So when I knew that there was a sequel coming out, I was always going to go and see it. So let's get into it. I quite like the story direction they went for here. Although it wasn't anything special, it tried to give Eddie Brock a nemesis, something that all great superheroes have, or anti-heroes in this case. And this even happens before the second act, where all of it starts to get a little bit hectic. They both have a history between them, and it's a foundation that gets built on here. I thought the villain was kind of cool here. Woody Harrelson, not his best performance by any stretch of the imagination, but he usually puts in a solid effort, and this is no different as this menacing serial killer, Cletus Cassidy. But it's really when he starts to become something more that this movie really does pick up and gets a lot more interesting, because chaos does ensue, as the title would suggest, and it's mainly down to him that the movie does pick up a little here. Now, it is a very slow start to this film, but after the first act, seeing rampage happening all over the city because of this dangerous individual and Brock's character having to do something about it really took me away from all the boring bickering that he and Venom constantly exchange back and forth. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some funny moments in here and there's fun to be had, but more often than not, I found myself rolling my eyes at the jokes here, and it just feels like very, very forced humour. And I'm not going to lie, it's a major problem for this movie. The CGI is decent here though. I mean, there's a standard that's been set for superhero movies in general, because that's probably the genre where you see most CGI. And I'm not really a fan of it, but it's hard to complain when it's done right. And when you've got a character like Venom as your central focal point, it's got to be done right, and it does hit the standards. Now, Tom Hardy puts in a good performance here, but I have always felt this way about him being Eddie Brock, that it's just a missed opportunity. I mean, I would like to see him as a more interesting Marvel character. I mean, Venom is interesting enough, but when he takes his true form, you don't see Tom Hardy, you just see that CGI thing I was talking about there. So it kind of takes away Tom Hardy, if you like, and you just see him as plain old boring, the journalist, Eddie Brock. So he's a top tier actor. I feel like he's kind of miscast, I'm not going to lie. Now, some people will find this to be a fun popcorn flick. It's entertaining in parts, but I feel like that's where its main problem lies, because it's all just very plain, simplified, and played very, very safely. We've seen this story path a million times before, and Venom, Let There Be Carnage brings nothing new to the table. Added to this, there's a side story with Eddie Brock's ex, played by Michelle Williams. You know, that story we seen in the first movie. I don't know why they put this in here. I don't root for either character. They're not going to get together. It's not going to happen for them. Why didn't they just bring a new love interest for Tom Hardy instead of playing the tired old formula from the first film? And that is a problem. It feels tired, and it's only the second movie. Now, the voice of Venom here starts to become very, very irritating at times as well, and this plays into the funny moments that don't land, what I was talking about earlier, because most of them are from his character, and it's just more frustrating to listen to. I mean, I'm not going to laugh at something that sounds annoying. Now, in the first movie, we got it about halfway through in that film, and it felt kind of fresh because, you know, it was introduced halfway through the runtime there, but here it's there from the start, and by the end of the movie, I just didn't want to hear that voice ever again. While I'm on the subject of dialogue, it's kind of a mess. I mean, it kind of just gets weird after a bit, seeing Tom Hardy walking into a store or down a street and stopping because Venom is talking to him. and he's just like got to listen to this voiceover. It just felt really weird, and it just didn't work this time around. It really didn't. Now, I know I was talking about standard sets with the CGI before, but in terms of actual superhero movie, Marvel have set a very good standard here. Now, I know this isn't the actual MCU, but this is in association with Marvel. However, it just feels like Sony Pictures have created a movie here that should have came out 20 years ago. You know, like them old superhero movies like Daredevil and stuff? This is what Venom Let There Be Carnage kind of felt like, with good special effects. Now, many of you may know that you don't leave your seat when a superhero film ends. You've got to stay for the end credit scene, and we're going to end on a positive here, because this was a pretty good one, so definitely stay seated. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give Venom Let There Be Carnage a 5.5 out of 10. This was nowhere near as good as the first movie for me, and it suffers from sequels just not living up to the original movie, which has happened time and time again. Okay, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Venom Let There Be Carnage is that when Eddie Brock enters Mrs. Chen's shop at one point in this film, Venom rearranges these bunch of magazines for her. And on the front is Stanley. Okay guys, I hope you all enjoyed this review. Please consider subscribing to this channel. I've got a lot more reviews coming, lots more videos, and if you want to comment about Venom Let There Be Carnage, leave it down below and I'll reply to every single one of you, I promise. Take it all easy guys. I'll see you all in the next video.